Happy Wednesday, winners. It's our favorite day of the week, and you are now tuned in to another weekly episode of the Ladies in Motion podcast, Talk It Out, where we shine light on women that's winning in the local community. I am super, super excited to shine light on today's winning lady, y'all, because through social media, I have started following her and connected with her, and she has inspired me already so much. She is a woman that's winning who is marching forth in her purpose. It's March, one of my favorite months of the year, so I love it because March, which was March 4th, was yesterday, and we always say that's the second day in the calendar that demands you to do something. It demands you to March 4th, right? And so today's winning lady is the poster child for marching forth in your purpose and just, marching forth and being resilient. So I'm super excited. Before I introduce to you who she is today, I need you all to share this episode with another woman that's winning that you may know, or a business owner, or anybody that you know who just may need some motivation to march forth in their purpose, or keep pursuing their business and showing up for themselves and their business. If you know somebody that may need that, share this episode because this is the one for them. Okay. I always do shout outs. I'm the queen of shout outs, so I have to give a shout out to today's this is someone who's been featured on my podcast before. Her name is Coach Lee. She's a lawyer and an attorney in the Central Florida area. And she also gave the Ladies in Motion word of the week this week. So the word of the week is productivity.
Listen, yes.
And I know you know all about being productive. So I'm super, super excited to just talk about what that means to you as a business owner and what that means to her. So she's Coach Lee. I mentioned she's an attorney out of Central Florida, but she's also a productivity and an accountability coach. Okay. So she gave us the word of the week today, and simplified in her words was, what is productivity? It's your ability to get things done. And she broke it down in 3 ways. And it said, what do you want to get done? When are you going to get it done? And how are you going to get it done? And if you simplify certain things, that you'll be more productive person when you think about things like that. So I want to give a huge shout out to my girl, Alicia Smith. That's her name, but she goes by Coach Lee, and she is your productivity and accountability coach, official brand ambassador for Ladies in Motion. She's been giving us the word of the week. So just make sure y'all stay tuned, follow on all platforms for more women that's winning in the city near you. Okay. So are you ready for this, Miss Tranae?
Yes, I am.
All right. I'm ready. So as I mentioned before, y'all, this is the poster child for a woman that's winning in productivity and a woman that's marching forth in her purpose. She is born and raised right here in Georgia. I just found out in Douglasville, to be exact. Yeah. But she moved to the city and she's been killing it, y'all. I'm very inspired by the moves she's been making. She's the owner of Crystal's Chacuterie business, which is, she has a nice, beautiful board right here with us. And I really just found out today that she's only been in business since February of 2024. And if you've been following her, you just would not, that you would be surprised like me, because she's been putting in work, y'all. And I'm just super excited to just talk about the beginning of the business and why she got started and just her success of it all. Okay. So everyone, I need you to give a nice warm welcome to my girl, Tranae Crystal Yates. I said the whole name. Okay. Yeah. I know. But Tranae Yates, y'all, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I really do appreciate you for being here. Yes. You really are a woman that is winning in my eyes. So I just can't wait to just talk about your journey and shine light on you. Okay. This is for potential consumers to get acclimated with who Miss Tranae is, so they can know, and if anybody else is just stagnant in their business, or they like, oh, maybe I can start a business, but people don't even know what this is. Well, people didn't know what this was.
Completely.
And she is thriving in her area of business, y'all. So I'm super excited to talk about it. I gave my shout out to Coach Lee. We're going to talk about productivity, but do you have anybody you'd like to shout out before we get going?
Throughout this journey, I really would just want to shout out my family. The transition I've had to make in the last 3 months. Without them, I don't think I would really be sitting here right now or doing this still. Just my family and my close friends. They stepped up in a lot of ways that I needed, mentally, emotionally, financially, and just very blessed to have them in my life.
Mm-hmm. One time for the family.
Yes.
Listen, everybody ain't able, to just come from a good family. Completely. And just come from like a good, supportive, loving actual family.
And
You know what I
supportive
mean?
and loving. Yes.
So shout out to that. It's a blessing to have it.
Yes.
This past weekend I was in Florida.
Okay.
Shout out one time for the home team. And I was there. I hosted a fashion show on March 1st.
Okay.
It was a mental health awareness fashion show. One time for Fedora Glam. It was beautifully put together. It was an amazing show. But I also on the second episode 107 was featured with Alicia Miller, and she was on the show, and she also had her mom and her sister there. Her mom was doing the vendoring for her while she was a panelist at this event. I'm like, one time for family, you know, just showing up, being very supportive. So everybody doesn't have a village, so we don't take ours for granted, right?
Yes, we do not.
Thank you. So again, y'all, we're gonna get right into it. I love to start these interviews with allowing our audience and myself to get to know the guests, just figuring out a little bit who they are, how they grew up, and if this was always the plan for you. You know, I like to just see, because life will throw us a loop, and next thing you know, we're in purpose, though.
For sure.
You know,
in
purpose, you know. So I'm super excited to talk about it. You say you're born and raised here in Georgia. Yeah. Okay, so I like to ask this question. After high school, when I don't know if you had college in mind, entrepreneurship in mind. I found out today, that you went to college, but was that always the plan for you? Tell us what you went to school for.
Okay.
And was that, did you see yourself really working in that long term? Because now you're doing your business full time. So I just like to talk about the early stages of what you thought your adult life would be like.
Okay, so we got to rewind all the way back to 2014, 2015.
Okay,
right?
Let's take it back.
So a lot has changed in between time, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, when I was in high school, I was very active. I did cheerleading for every single sport that could be possible. And honestly, when it was time to cross that stage, I did not know what I wanted to do. Right. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't know what that would look like, for one. We spoke about villages, and at the time, my grandmother lived with us and my sisters and my mother. And she told me, she said, "Well, baby, if you don't get a college degree, they can take anything from you. Mm-hmm. So have that degree so they can't take it from you."
Right.
So I'm like, in my head, what you talking about?
Right.
What are they gonna take away from me? But I put the ball in her court. I said, "You want me to go to school? You can do applications. I'm not touching one. I'm not paying for it. I'm not doing no FAFSA. I'm not going through the stress of this." I said, "You want me to go to school? You pick the school, you do it, and you call me and you let me know where I'm going."
Wow.
Which is crazy, right? My future's in my grandmother's hands.
Right. So all the way down to your major, like she's the one. So share with us what your major was.
So with my major, I did not choose, right? So
wow, that's insane. Grandma chose that.
My grandmother chose my major.
That's what's up.
I went to school at Middle Georgia State University, Eastman, Georgia, south of Atlanta. I went to school for aeronautical science. Mm. I drove to that school and I cried because it looked like a prison cell.
Dang.
And I come to find out it was like 280 guys and like 4 girls and maybe 2 of me.
Wow.
So I was not expecting, I guess, the shift of one, starting over like as a freshman in the beginning stages, but 2, going into a complete male-dominated industry.
Wow, that's insane.
It was pretty rough. I was at home every weekend, so I jetted out immediately after that last class. But I ended up in aeronautical science. That's what my degree is in from Middle Georgia State University. And in between time, going home, working, going to class, I actually got into property management.
Okay.
Which is nothing near aeronautical science.
And so I'm curious to know, because aeronautical science, come on. And most people that I hear that say, I was going to do this because, so-and-so told this, but I eventually changed. But you finished through with it.
I did.
Did you enjoy it, though?
I did. I would say I enjoyed the ride of something different that really no one in my class did.
Right.
But again, unknowingly, I stepped into that. So I was noticing it wasn't a lot of me. Right. In that industry, and I think that kind of drove me to continue to keep doing it, and that we were getting a lot of light shed on us to be in that industry. So it didn't feel that intimidating, at the end, because okay, it's a lot of sisters like me out there doing the same thing, going through the same struggles, and actually really excelling into the aeronautical airspace and with the airlines. So
one time for grandma though.
Listen,
grandma had a vision though, because I see what you did there, Graham. She put you in the field again where you would be the minority, But
For sure.
I love that you are a Black woman with it behind your name, though, because
Completely.
a lot of us aren't. Obviously, you got to see firsthand, you
Yes.
know. So you graduated 2019.
Yep.
And did you get into a field? Did you ever work in that field, or did you really go right into like property management?
Well, you know, when it comes to aeronautical and just aviation in general, when you're going to school, there's so many directions to go.
Anyway.
It's so many directions to go. We're talking like air traffic control,
Mm-hmm.
becoming a pilot, or becoming a certified flight instructor, or staying in school and getting another type of degree.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, my mom looked at me when I graduated and she said, "So what you gonna do?" and I said, "I guess I'm going to work." So
adult life, it's time.
It kicked in pretty quick. So I jumped right into property management at a very young age, which I was doing that in between college too.
Okay.
I was driving to Atlanta, or back down to Macon, Eastman every day of managing both.
Ripping, running, girl.
I've been a hustler since I was a little girl.
Clock that.
Yes. So I've been, hustling just in the ways of making sure that like I'm good. I know what like my work ethic, like it's always been there. I've never really accepted no's from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I just found another way. So in the midst of that, that's kind of just where everything kind of played out. Property management, did that right after college.
Mm-hmm.
Got a job right then and there with a well-known company in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it didn't stop until December of last year.
Really?
Yep.
And you been doing this full time a little bit more, yeah?
So yeah, I guess to dive into the shift I was talking about earlier of thanking my family. Actually, December of 2024, I got laid off.
Because I have a question. So I want to talk about something before you go to December 24. Okay. Because I find that you graduated in a weird time because it was 2019, and I heard someone say that was like the last normal time because then the pandemic came.
For sure.
And so I just want to know. And the reason why I asked is because we call the pandemic, and a lot of gifts were created during that time. A lot of businesses were birthed during that time. So I just want to ask you, because you graduated, you said you went right into it, but then the pandemic did happen in between that time. So like, what was your pandemic experience like? Is that where you started to do this a little bit more, like get creative? Because people that do this, y'all, this don't just happen. And if you follow her, it's beautiful work. You know what I mean? So it doesn't just happen. So have you always been this crafty person? And what did the pandemic do for you? I'm just curious to know.
Completely.
Because it was during that time, I'm just curious to know what you was doing during the pandemic. Were you always doing these? Like, I'm just curious to know what that time was like for you.
So I actually lived a completely different life during the pandemic.
Okay.
And I say that because my mother, she lives in Miami.
Okay.
And we have a yacht brokerage.
Okay.
So during the pandemic, there's lots of stuff going on for other people.
Right.
But as far as Miami and the yacht life, we had a really good time. We were booking yachts left and right.
Really?
That was
That's insane.
In Florida, COVID regulations were different than Georgia and anywhere else. So everybody fled to Miami to go on a boat where you can still be on there with your friends and not be penalized for being around people. So honestly, it had nothing to do with chacuterie, but that was a time in my life where I felt like I enjoyed the best because I got flights for like $20.
Yeah.
And I was back and forth. Honestly, I moved out there for 3 months to help my mom full time with that.
Wow.
Because it became that busy for her.
So did you grow up in that world? Like in the yacht brokerage? Is that something your mom just kind of got into?
So my mom has been a country girl for a minute. So she's like the Lake Lanier, Lake Alatoona girl for a minute. And then her life, when she moved to Miami, she's like, I gotta get a boat. So it started from there. Then it just it went to a level that we didn't even realize we were getting into until we were into it. And it was actually for myself, it was pretty much a really good time, but I know for everybody else it may have been tough. But I know in those moments we helped out a lot of our family members. and we made sure that we put ourselves in good positions that if this will ever happen again, we know exactly what to do.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
So the pandemic, like you said, the yacht business was flourishing in Miami. So y'all had a pandemic too.
Definitely.
Love that. That's what's up. So I'm just curious to know that. So you spent 3 months there. You come back here. You're working from home, I'm sure.
Actually, no. And keep in mind, I was in property management for 10 years.
Okay.
So that's majority of my career of property management. In between that, one of the properties were selling and had a new property coming up. So I had like a 3-month grace period to like do what I want to do.
Yeah, pretty much, essentially.
So my mom's like, well, come to Miami then to come help with this business. And, you know, I was on one flight there and everything is a story. But in that time frame, I was still working. I was corporate girly. That was me. Corporate girly. 401k, you know, you got the paycheck coming in on time.
Right.
You're not really worried about the shenanigans of being a business owner. Keep in mind, I'm still a business owner because we're doing a yacht business.
Yeah.
So I'm floating on both.
And we're going to talk about that. You know, I do want to talk about how, you know, did you see any similarities or, you know, now since you're doing this full time, is it anything that you like noticed then that's like, that is helping you, you know, maybe even right now, you know? So before we get into that, I want to talk about being laid off because you've been working. We mentioned, y'all, that February 2024 is when this business started. And you were doing this full time and you were laid off December last year? Or in December last year.
3 months ago.
3 months ago. And I'm a firm believer, and sometimes, you know, it'd be blessings in disguise. Like, I don't know if you was there,
this
or
was
what it was blessing for you because now you got full time. So just I want to hear your mind space around that. What was it like just to hear you getting laid off, but knowing that you got this and you're doing this full time anyway? I just would love to know your experience.
So one thing I will say, God is good and God is faithful and God is a loving God.
On time.
And I say that because I really haven't had a time to tell my testimony because I haven't felt the right time to. But given the space that I'm in right now, it's kind of ironic that I haven't told anybody just this testimony of what I've been through emotionally and physically and mentally to keep going.
Yeah.
In midst of being hurt or betrayed or not understanding. 24 hours before I was laid off, I got on my knees and prayed. And it was a little frustrations around the position already. And I knew I had to pray. So I got on my knees and I prayed. And I said, God, if this door needs to be closed, I'm giving you. And that is a powerful prayer. When you tell God to remove people or to remove things, you gotta be ready.
And he moved quick is what I learned.
The next day.
Quick.
The next day.
Girl, talk about it.
The next day. And I couldn't even be mad. You know, of course the emotions had to go through of 10 years working a consistent 9 to 5 is you get stuck in corporate America ways where it's guaranteed. You have health insurance, you know, you're not really worried about bills not being paid or, you know, things like that, or the financial security of having a 9 to 5. And that's what I've had since I was 18.
Right.
So I'm not used to, you know, I'm used to having on the side additional, but not the main source.
Right, I understand.
So that's the difference.
And that's tricky.
Yeah, so the moment I prayed, the next following day, completely the next morning, that's when the transition happened and the emotions that allowed me to have those emotions. But I always have to remind myself, you prayed for this. You asked God to step in to make these changes in your life that you felt that need to have change to be had. Yeah. But in the midst that he was already working in my favor for what was next. And keep in mind, I still had this going on. Chacuterie was, you know, my additional to what I was doing because of property management. I did a lot of events. Like that was my niche. I did events all the time for my properties. And I loved it. That was my way to talk to people and, you know, hug people and show them love and let them know that we're here for you and things like that.
Right.
So this was my niche all along, but it's putting something on top of that.
I love it.
Right. So that's where Chacuterie came into place of going full time. I was still getting clients in between my 9 to 5. And my weekends I'm working 40 hours this week, 40 this weekend.
Yeah, girl, you was
so definitely
for real.
You gotta keep waking up. You have to keep going. You have to continue to keep faith without work is just dead. And that sits in me every single day when I wake up. I can lay in bed all day. I can roll on TikTok all day. I can laugh and giggle, but it's still going to remain. There's no bookings this week. Yeah. So what are you going to do, sweetie?
What are you gonna
right?
do about it?
So my mindset is getting up. You gotta get up, clean the house, walk outside, go visit 100 businesses in 10 days.
I love that. We're gonna talk about it, girl.
So yes,
I love it. And I'm telling you, I'm not just making this up when I said that she was the poster child for marching forth. I'm a very intentional person.
for sure.
You know what I mean? So even with the lineup, I knew that March 4th was the day before this, and I seen the work that you was doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want her to be the one for this date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm honored to have you on because you
thank
were
you so
doing your
much.
thing, you know. And so you were balancing working your full-time job, but really just doing this in the midst. And then you ended getting laid off, you said. And tell me just when you finally realized, like, did this pick up more? Like, what did you do after being laid off to make this pick up more? And it's like, okay, this thing is full time for real now. You know what I mean? Like,
For
what
sure.
did you do?
From what I did,
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I'm curious to know.
I cried a little bit, you know, because now I'm putting all my faith into myself.
Right.
That's the hardest part,
And that is hard.
A faith is putting all in yourself, because right now it's just me and God
Mm-hmm.
and the security board. What we gonna do about it?
Right.
So, sitting in my 700 square foot apartment in Midtown is not so much you can do right in that apartment without getting depressed or not knowing if something else is going to come the next day.
Right.
I got up.
And I was gonna say, and I guess my question is like, you said you got up. Did you let any time pass? Like, was it like,
Honestly,
you got right to, okay, let me crank it up a notch with crystal charcuterie because I don't have no time to waste now. Was it like that for you?
I went full throttle.
Amen, girl.
I went full
I'm
throttle.
surprised.
And full throttle, y'all. Mm-hmm. My last vacation was 2023 of September. And I'm known for that. I'm known for not taking care of my vacation part of myself. September 2023 was my last vacation.
Right.
In Bimini. That was my last vacation.
Because you've been working.
Yeah. So thinking I could take a break was not even a question.
I
had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
Because keeping in mind, this is December 13th. My birthday is December 27th. I have a Christmas cabin trip with my family on December 23rd.
So it's time to get it, right? My dad
Christmas is here.
My daddy say, wait, held the wagon down. So no, we ain't waiting on nothing.
Completely. So I had to lock in, and that's why I wanted to just really shed light on my family of just how supportive that they are and my close friends, because honestly, without them, of just the support of like, we got you this month, we got you, like whatever you need, like don't sit and think that you're by yourself. Amen. And I think that was the most anxiety I had from getting laid off and trusting in my business, because you're really by yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When you're trying to build a business by yourself, you are by yourself. So the reassurance is why I'm here sitting here right now.
I'd like to ask you about the beginning stages of crystal charcuterie, even when you were doing it like part-time on the side. Like, what made you even start this business? Because I think this is I've never even seen anybody like really with this business. I know maybe a few people that follow on social media like, oh, for sure, I made this for it. Yeah. But you have a blooming business, y'all, and it's thriving. I see you book, and I seen you get creative in your business, with just the way you show up and the events. I love that for you. I feel like you really created your own lane doing this, and it is for you. I see it. So, how did this even come about? Like, oh, let me start a business like this,
Well, what started the spark of ideas, I would say, because I had a lot of ideas. I guess I listened to something on YouTube about Steve Harvey stating, write down 100, 200 things that you want for yourself or businesses or just whatever it was. Write down these things and something's going to come to pass out of those 200 things on the list. Okay. So in the midst of that, I don't do nothing without praying. So let's start off there.
Yeah.
So in the midst of that, I was on TikTok one day. I'm gonna be really truthful about this. I was on TikTok one day and I saw this girl. Can't recall her business name, but I saw this girl in Tampa, I believe, and she had a security mobile card. Okay. I said, I ain't never seen anything like this before. Cute. It was like an actual security mobile card. It was a nice card. The presentation was nice, and she looked like she was very happy doing what she was doing. And not that was my first thing that flew off my head, like, yeah, do that. I actually wanted to get into like business consulting and things like that because I know how to manage businesses. And something just stuck with me with the security part. And being in the property management industry, I know a lot of contractors.
Right.
So I'm like, hey,
smart girl,
you made me this boy, you made me this card. He's like, yeah, send me the blueprint. And
it happened like that.
It happened, and I was very intimidated when I first saw it.
Really?
Because it was big. It was heavy.
Right.
I'm like, who's gonna
carry? Who's gonna travel and haul and do this? Right.
The vision was there, but having it right in front of you was completely different.
Right.
Because now what you gonna do with this card? So like you saw it being done, but what you gonna do with it?
Now it's time to get it done. Now it's time to do something with it. You know.
So that's really what upkicked the security part for me, because I can make boards all day.
Right.
But the experience is what led people to wanting to book me.
Yeah.
Just of course my personality is on point, but it has to be. It has to be. Like you can't be in this business and be a Debbie Downer. Like they're not gonna book you.
Yeah.
Get in front of the camera, show your smile, talk to your people, and show love. And that's honestly the reason why people trust me with their community, because they know I'm going to come in and give the best of my capabilities, and that's what I would do for all my clients. So
that.
The card is really what upticked the whole security thing for me, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can manage.
That's what's up. I love it so much for you. So you start this, you're doing well. I love this business brand idea. I feel like, I'm seeing it more and more, but in our community, I don't feel like I wasn't seeing a bunch of securities out there.
No,
but I'm seeing it more and more now.
Yes.
But before, it wasn't a thing. So
security's on the wave right now.
It is a wave.
It's on the wave right now, and I respect it because, people may call this fancy. But what I see is some salami, some white cheddar cheese, some strawberries, and things that you would normally eat.
It is. It's just
maybe
the
not together.
Presentation.
Completely
it's
presentation.
Just the presentation.
Yes.
And that's why presentation matters all across the board.
It does.
Presentation does matter. So I was gonna ask you about. My train of thought. I'm being thrown off because there's so many things going in my head. You're so passionate about this business. So let's go into the 100 businesses in 10 days.
Yeah.
And again, poster child for March and 4th, because you did this during the time where it snowed during those times. Yeah. Georgia, what was you thinking? Why did we snow back to back like that? Me being a Florida girl, the first time I was like, okay, snow. And I was off. But the second time I had to work, and I was like, okay, Georgia.
Yeah, people really don't know how to act when the snow. We shut it down.
Oh my God. I didn't want to leave the house. I was nervous. I just don't like I didn't like it. I'm like, wrap it up. But within that, and y'all seen that you got sick too in those 3 days. You were just down for a few days. But within that, you still just showed up for yourself and your business. And you mentioned something about, you said your personality is dope. It is. I knew that before, like just from following on social media, seeing your content. I love it. Thank you. I really, really do. I feel like I had a sense of who you were already. So I love that. But something that you said when I seen you first started telling about how you're going to visit the 100 businesses is social media is cool, but it's something different about that human interaction, going up, showing up face to face, putting yourself in front of these people and in these rooms with certain people. So I just want to talk about your experience, what even made you do that, was business slow and you just did that? And since, how long ago was that? And since you've done that, have you even seen a little bit of change in your business? Because I was inspired. I'm telling you, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
And I'm going to tag you.
Yes.
And I'm going to tag more women and challenge them to do it as well. I really am.
Honestly, the 100 businesses in 10 days came to me in the midst of the first 15 to going on 30 days of me being laid off. I do a lot of marketing on social media, of course, as you see. I reach out to a lot of people through social media, and I do clients through that. But I knew there was a level I had to hit, in that I had to do something to get there. Yeah. And in order to get to where you want to be, you have to do action is behind that. Sitting at home and DMing and emailing is, it's kind of like, done 10, 50 emails and you don't get any replies back. Yeah. I'm going to pull up.
I'm pulling up.
Pulling up on you.
I love it.
So in that, and being in the industry that I did 10 years in, I know that energy. And I know the connection will give trust off the bat.
Yeah.
And two, like, thank you for even coming out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's super busy, but thank you for even coming and staying and, you know, being with everything that's going on. It's snowing, it's cold, you got a cold. And coming up and just, you know, just showing out for your company. And many people respect that more than anything. You know, when I was in property management, I would get 100 emails a day. You thought I read all those?
Right.
You don't have to see about me.
Yeah, you need to.
If you need some attention, you need to, you know, you
that
gotta show up.
You're right.
You know, because people, they don't read those emails, I promise you.
Yeah.
I've been in the industry for a very long time. Those emails are barely read because it's just so much in between that. You do, yes. And I mean like 100 a day. Like, it's not a joke. So it's not that on purpose that they're not read, but it's the principle that they're human and they cannot read 100 emails within 8 hours. So my gameplay with that is I know that story. I know that position. I know that feeling. Yes. So I'm going to bring some security for lunch and we'll talk about how to do your events.
I love that so much. So when you got in this, like in doing this, and now you get in the swing of things, and you've been doing it. Well, I would say that when you began doing this like full time, did you realize like, oh, okay, even though you were already doing it part time, like did it raise you, you know, did it heighten your, let me see, expectations a little bit or whatever, you know, like, dang, okay, doing this full time is more difficult than I thought, or maybe it's way more money than it is to run it full time than it was part time. Because I see you go to, I heard you, you know, make a reel and you said my butcher. I'm like, okay, yeah, she on point. She got a butcher, cutting fresh meat, this and that. I see you go to Trader Joe's all the time. Like, you know, this is a lot of time, and you know, you put a lot into it. So, you know, is there something that has caught you by surprise since you started this, and since you made the transition to doing it full time too?
Well, for me, I'm unwiring my brain of being comfortable with a 9 to 5. I cannot lie. I'm still putting in applications on Indeed. I'm not gonna lie. Am I like a little of a hypocrite of doing that because I'm praying for one thing doing another?
That's so funny, girl.
But it's just something in my spirit that it's like you God, you know, God sees your plan, sees you talking about it, and he just over there like, all right, girl, keep posting it. Nobody responded to me. Nobody's
right.
And my resume is extensive. You know, we're talking about near the top of what property management is, and nothing.
And so why? Like, why? I want to ask you, like, are you nervous? But I get it. So I had somebody on my show once. Yeah. His name is Lamar Pennick. I seen him this weekend. He was a photographer at the fashion show. He's amazing. And he said, with entrepreneur, like with your 9 to 5, I get it because you know, okay, if I work this many hours, this is what I'm gonna get. Yeah. Cool. You know, it's that comfort. But so a lot of people do find comfort in that. He said, but with entrepreneurship, you can either make what you make in your 9 to 5, but that's the limit. It can exceed that though. Completely. And that's what keeps him hungry. You know what I mean? So I get you being like, man, I gotta find a job, you know, because I gotta have that stable like something. For sure. Know? So I understand that. So I won't ask why. But I get it, you know.
Yes, but for me, I am putting all into my business as well, you know, because like you asked before, of just simply of the feeling secure in your business. Yeah. Right. I do feel secure in my business. I know that my work has to match what I want the outcome to be. Yeah. And at moments, I do want to lay on the couch all weekend because I know I got a job on Monday morning. Yeah. And you know, and that's usually how my weekends work. I'm chilling, or I'm eating at 3 restaurants, or I'm, you know, enjoying myself because I got to work a long week. But that's not my reality anymore. Yes, I cannot eat out every weekend. I can't go get lemon drops all weekend because I have to be awake and alert for my business because that phone will ring at happy hour. Yeah. And you got to answer that phone. And so for me, I am just unwiring my mind of feeling like I do need this stability because my business is stable. You're right. And I have to keep that in mind while I'm waking up every morning and waking up for it. So that's really what it is. It's that little itch sometimes like, you can do both. You can do both. And really, I'm like, no, you can't. And really, you can't because you are immediately going to the other job is going to take away. Oh, completely. I know it is. You know. And my mom reminds me of that. She's like, okay, the moment you get one, you got to reel this all the way back in. Yeah. All your investments, all your marketing. If you get 10 bookings in 1 week, you will not be able to do it. What are you going to do next? So I want to talk about investing in yourself, you know, and especially in a business like this. I love, number one, I always feel like, you know,
God be leaving little nuggets along our journey, and
For
you'd be
sure.
like, dang, you know, I was already doing things like this, or you know,
Yes.
also this was already like my thing, you
Yeah.
know. Because you mentioned with you worked at proper manager, you had contractors, you
Yeah.
got your car, it was nothing for you to do that. So I just want to ask you, is there anything, let me see how I word this, within your business, like how do you invest in yourself in this business? What has that been like for you? Because now it is all you, and you want to have things fresh, and you know, groceries ain't cheap, and just everything, nothing in life is cheap anymore. So you know, just how are you just navigating and you know, dealing with investing in yourself as a business owner,
Yeah.
and dealing with that and putting it back into your business so you can actually see some growth if you are seeing
Yes.
growth, you know.
So as we all know, entrepreneurship is very spiritual. It's a very spiritual journey. If you think that you're not going to get the booking, you're not going to get the booking. If you think that you're not going to be a successful business owner, you'll not be a successful business owner. It's very spiritual, and what you speak will come to light.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest investment I can make for myself is speaking life into my business and to myself.
Wow.
You know, people can say, well, I go to the gym or I do Pilates or I go to the steam room. No, how is your mental in carrying a business? Because this can defeat a lot of people.
It can.
And this can make people feel like, oh, well, I'm not good enough for it. And granted, I am thankful for my 10 years and what I did because I can run any business.
Right.
I know how to start from 0 to 1,000 and okay, we good, right? Yeah. And I help other business owners as well to get that to their businesses. But in the way of just really investing into myself is really making sure I'm speaking life into myself and into my business and into the people around me because those people matter as well.
Yeah.
But as far as my business, my investments, it's stepping up to what has not been done. Right now I'm in the works of redoing my cart, of just going a different level of customization of what my cart has in place already. So right now I'm working on some signages and working on some different type of frames for my wood boards. So I'm really excited on what I've put into place or what I am putting into place for my security business. But like this board here, you may notice people like do it on the table, right? Like to be honest, this is such a cool setup. I feel like make security like on this little circle thing, right?
Okay.
Cute, right? But in my winter boards, I'm able to carry this and take it wherever for my clients, and they can take this home and make their own, or even book me again and keep this. So these are like investments where they get this big to like 3 feet, 4 feet long. So those are like investments that I make for presentation wise.
Yes.
People like their presentation of a lot of food, but in perfect
laid out nice. Yeah, like little spaced out. It's the aesthetic.
Completely.
Tell us what kind of like services or what kind of carts you offer, if that's the right terminology. I don't know. But just, you know, tell us where we can follow you. Number one, I want to go ahead and get that out there. Where can we follow you and book you? But and when we do get there, what services are we going to see that you have and that you offer? What kind of events do you do?
Yes.
This is so cute. I love this.
Thank you so much.
I really do, girl.
So my socials are Instagram will be Crystal Chacuterie, just Crystal Chacuterie, and that's it. And you'll find me there. As far as the events, my list is getting bigger and bigger because I am aiming to partner with a lot of small businesses in Atlanta. And we're talking about, you know, people who do massages. Recently, I partnered up with a company for caricature drawings. Okay. So my events, you know, I can tag them alongside with me, with the experience that I want to provide for my clients. So as far as what I do the security mobile bar, and that comes with a bar of 12 items where people can come up and we will serve charcuterie in all forms. If they don't like pork, they don't have to have pork. You can do turkey options. So it's an array of options that you can get with a mobile cart. With security, Crystal Charcuterie, we have our flower bar. The flower bar comes with charcuterie as well. So with springtime coming, Mother's Day, all these spring events, it's gonna be nice. The flower bar is a good hit as well, and I still incorporate it within the charcuterie within my other events too. I do workshops, which is the funnest because the workshops you get to interact, mingle with your friends, tell people how ugly their roses, their sunny roses, and how cute theirs is, and people making up names for it. So it's just the experience because every month you're celebrating something, right? And I think that's why I love this business because somebody's celebrating something versus same old same old stuff, a different day.
Right.
So,
Did you do a workshop for Valentine's Day?
I did.
I think
yes.
I seen that. Tell me about that. How was that? It was so cute. I wish I worked. I'm a restaurant manager.
Love
So
it.
I work long hours and my
Sure.
weekends I have to request off. You know what I mean? So, but I seen the content from it. Just tell me about that. And then I want to ask you, how do you stay up on game on this? Like, you obviously can make a rose. Like,
For
how do you have the eye for this and stay up on game and know that what you're doing is like what is gonna be
completely.
Like,
yes. So actually, I was at a property in Stockbridge. Actually, when I was coming this way, I'm like, yeah, this was the exit. It's Render Stockbridge. They're in Stockbridge, Georgia, of course. Brand new community, and with brand new apartments, you have to actually do events for your new residents.
Okay.
You're trying to create that community.
Right, right.
So one of the employees there connected with me on Instagram and was like, we want you here, please come, So we were going back and forth for a minute, but that event of the workshop was a Valentine expired workshop, and pretty much the residents came out to the workshop and they learned about chacuterie. So it's a place for them to come together, which was the mission of bringing the community together. So with that, the event incorporated them creating salami roses or anything that they want to make with their salami, because they made other things for sure. And it's how to cut up fruit nicely. It's how to pair cheeses with meats and the different olives. Yes, the education piece of it that they inspire to get to from it, so they can potentially make it at home for their guests. So it was a very good interactive event for sure.
Cute. I love that. And where can we stay connected with you? You already said Crystal Charcuterie.
Yes.
Do you have anything else upcoming? As someone asked, anything else upcoming that you have that you'd like to just plug in and let us know about? I really love what you're doing. And then I'm gonna ask you, let me say it all at once so you can have a chance to think about it too.
Yeah.
Because again, to me, you're the queen of just marching forward.
For sure.
And productivity and just showing up for yourself and your business. Yes. So after you just plug your stuff and what you got coming next, I just want you to leave the people with like 3 tips or ways they can be productive, or just what it means to be productive and show up for your business. You just want to leave with that, because you have great advice. Sure. I love what you've been given. And, just like you said, it's like, I know what that's like, because before I started filming my show again, it's like on my off days, it's like, oh my gosh, I just want to chill out because I know I got to work tomorrow all day. But now it's like, I was up late. I was up late last night, and I was up early today because we filmed 2 episodes. We got to do this, we got to do that, So just like showing up, and I'll sleep when I die. That's what we say, chat. Like, yes, So please show us once again where we can stay connected with you. Okay. If you have anything upcoming, and just advice for entrepreneurs about being productive, showing up for themselves, and just marching forward with their purpose.
Yes. So you can always find me on Crystal Charcuterie on Instagram. I'm on TikTok as well, but I'm not super interactive with TikTok right now because they try to kick me out. Y'all know. They try to kick everybody out. So they're on timeout right now. But Crystal Charcuterie for Instagram. Things that are coming up is just more so I do a lot of private events. So you'll never see me at Piedmont Park. You'll never see me at any public functions. But if you have any private functions, you can see me there at anybody's private events. But I want to really just reach out to the entrepreneurs or the people who are not sure what the next step is for their business. The next step is you taking a step. No one is going to save you. No one is going to pick you up and hold your hand or give you advice or put you in place to make money. You have to bet it all with your last dime. And I mean that.
Okay, girl.
And I mean that. Get your rest, but continue to know every day you wake up, it needs to be a new day of you figuring something else out. Don't sleep on yourself, because everybody else is. You have to be the only one screaming for you. You have to be the only one patting yourself on the back. You have to be the only one setting an example for your business, because no one else will take you serious about it. That's my advice. Keep going, keep waking up, and keep God first.
Great, awesome advice, girl. Thank you so much, Tranae.
Yes,
I appreciate you so much for just being a guest on the show. But I appreciate you for being intentional and being purposeful with what you're doing, because it is inspiring. I'm not from here, but I love watching you post and show up for your business, and it really has done something to me. Like, you know what, girl, you better show up. Because don't sleep on yourself because everybody else is. So stop it.
Completely.
You know, so that's just where I'm at in life. And you said something again, and we're gonna end with this, y'all. March again is what I call the Ladies in Motion Women's Empowerment Month. You know, it's already Women's History Month. Shout out to the women out here making history in the community. We got International Women's Day coming up. But I always say, you know, my cousin brought this to my attention. March has the only 2 days in the calendar that demands you to do something. So yesterday was March 4th, but before March 4th, you got to March 1st.
Exactly.
And that's something that just sticks with me. I heard my cousin say March 4th one time, and then I challenged him with that March 1st. I said, yeah, because you're right with that March 4th, but you got to March 1st first.
You got to March 1st. Completely.
And I love that.
You know, so keep going forward.
Anybody watching, you heard it here first. You got to get up, keep going forward, and March 1st before you can March 4th, okay?
Yes.
So until next time, next week, I'll see you back here again for more Women That's Winning. Bye. Thank you so much.